Your Excellencies, at this point, I remain immensely privileged to have the tremendous honor. We also made it clear that we are aware of the unjust configuration of multilateral institutional frameworks that perpetually place African nations on the back foot through costly financing, which plunge our economies into debt trap and deny them resources needed to mitigate and adapt in response to climate change, invest in energy transition, and facilitate industrialization to create jobs and wealth, and to reduce inequality. Right here, the President of Ethiopia, we demand a fair playing ground for our countries to access the investment needed to unlock the potential and translate it into opportunities. We further demand a just multilateral development finance architecture to liberate our economies from odious debt and onerous barriers to necessary financial resources. We are clear in our minds and hearts that the international community must walk with us in this journey into a future of prosperity and security in an ecologically balanced, thriving planet.
I've just seen the declaration that was made, and it has run short of our expectations. As young people and people who are at the grassroots and people who have seen firsthand the effects of climate change, what we expected is a more elaborate plan that will see us tackle these issues down there. But what have we seen? We have seen a money-oriented declaration. We feel it doesn't capture the aspirations of the African youth. It doesn't capture the aspiration of the African communities and the African women.
In 2009, there was a promise of 100 billion. And as we speak today, the continent of Africa needs $3 trillion and above to be able to implement their national climate plans that are called the Nationally Determined Contribution. It means that between now and 2030, the continent needs $277 billion, but it's only receiving 11% of that money. And that then means that the continent can no longer just wait to be supported. The continent needs to look for alternative resources, for alternative approaches to be able to build resilience of community, because, as you rightly say, the continent is vulnerable. But what is causing that vulnerability in the continent is because of a low socioeconomic base. Mothers, children, men and women cannot be able to put food on the table and more money in their pockets. Because of that, they are highly vulnerable. And what is happening in this discussion is to unlock alternative sources of financing, not only waiting for international financing,